Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fourth Behaviour Change Science and Policy Symposium on creating real-world impact, implementation and dissemination. My name is Nelli Hankonen. I'm Assistant Professor of Social Psychology at the University of Helsinki, and I'm delighted to be able to chair this Argumenta project and also this session today. I'm very grateful to all of the speakers who were very agile to change their presentations to be online. So this whole symposium is now just very spontaneously put online, and we're excited to see how this goes. We have at least 120 registered participants, but perhaps we have more people from all over the world to join us now as we are not doing this face-to-face anymore. All right, so I will have just one very short presentation about the entire Argumenta Symposium to give a background, a little bit of a background to everyone, and thank everyone who is involved in making this happen. So let's look at the first slide. I first want to acknowledge and thank the Finnish Cultural Foundation for making this 2-year project possible. And the second slide shows the members of the working group. We have various disciplines represented by several professors and also 2 representatives from the Prime Minister's office involved. So thank you to all of you for your contributions, and especially Elina Renko, the project coordinator, for your tireless work in putting this symposium together and the practical arrangements. On the third slide, I want to remind everyone about the BeSP forum on Facebook. So now that we are not in the same lecture hall and we are not able to talk face-to-face, so let's do it online. So if you just join this forum, you will be able to start up discussions, share ideas and possible further resources. And also, importantly, all of the speakers will be available for Q&A sessions. I will present your questions to the speakers, and I encourage you to put up your question for each of the speakers in the thread that I start on the BeSP forum. If you're not on Facebook, you are able to participate on Twitter. Use the BeSPFin hashtag so we can find your comments. On the fourth slide, we can see the objectives of this Argumenta project. I'll just briefly give them to you so you have an idea why we put this project together. So the reason is that we want to advance the quality of academic research on influencing behavior change from different scientific disciplines, strengthening the solution-oriented social and behavioral science. We also want to spark collaboration and synergies. We want to improve opportunities to conduct high-quality intervention research and to enhance the use of research and science in designing policy and enhance policymakers' opportunities to make policies more fit for purpose and impactful. Very relevant, actually, for today's topic as well. And then to communicate contributions of science and improve practice in several applied areas. So we are very lucky to have representatives from various areas, so healthcare, social work, leadership, mental health, so on and so forth. On the slide number 5, I just briefly remind everyone why we wanted to emphasize the role of behavior here. So, of course, many societal problems are actually linked to someone's behaviors related to all these different areas. So, for example, ethnic discrimination or bullying in schools or healthcare practitioners' behavior in implementing innovative and evidence-based healthcare. So it may be very helpful to conceptualize these problems in terms of behaviors involved and thereby create more effective interventions. So this might be in terms of the target group behavior, for example, the school children, or providers and practitioners' behavior, for example, the teachers or school staff. And in getting these insights and evidence from behavioral science doesn't mean that the interventions or the solutions would be limited to individual level solutions or psychological interventions, but they can also inform structural level interventions. And it's, of course, a multidisciplinary effort. Many sciences can contribute to this endeavor. On the slide number 6, I show the symposia that we are having over these 2 years. And this actually logically begins from the symposium number 2, Behavioral Insights in Developing Public Policy and Interventions, where we discussed how we can use behavioral evidence and theory in designing these interventions. And then, of course, in practice, we have many interventions that are already effective that we can learn from. So the 3rd symposium was on reverse translation and how we can create science out of practice-based innovations. And on the other hand, how we can use stakeholder input and participatory development in creating these interventions. And then, of course, these interventions need to be evaluated. The 1st symposium was about evaluating effectiveness and processes of interventions in societal field experiments and other types of evaluation designs. And now today we are getting to discuss how then to effectively implement evidence-based interventions. And the 5th symposium will be not on this logical continuum. It will be a special edition on how to use insights from the emerging complexity science to behavior change interventions and intervention research. And then finally, we are working with the think tank Demos Helsinki to create a toolbox for policymakers in more efficiently using behavioral science evidence in policymaking. So the next slide, slide number 7, shows that I want to just remind everyone that these symposia talks are available online from the previous symposia. So here you see some of the keynotes that were presented in that symposium and the address. And the next slide shows the behavioral insights in developing interventions symposium. I welcome everyone to use those slides. And then the 3rd BeSP symposium on the next slide shows some of the talks that have been recorded and are available online. So please make use of these resources. And I once again thank all the wonderful speakers of the previous symposia and also this symposium to be willing to share their talks openly to the public use. So just some words about this today's symposium on implementation. The core question is, why are not evidence-based interventions taken up in practice? And there has even been evidence of 15 to 20-year lag in taking up evidence-based innovations from science in, for example, healthcare practice. But luckily, there is a science for this. Many disciplines are involved and used in improving implementation of evidence-based interventions. And the next slide shows implementointia suomeksi, slide number 11. There is, for the Finnish-speaking audience, I want to encourage you to use this Duodecim article by Raija Sipilä and colleagues on some terminology and evidence, especially from the healthcare settings and medical settings on implementation science, if you're interested. And then to the next slide, number 12, about today's program. You find, of course, the program online. We first have 2 excellent keynotes from Bianca Albers and Dr. Fabiana Lorencato. Then we will have a short half-an-hour break, and then we will have one more session on 3 major studies that have been conducted in Finland in this field of implementation. So I'm very looking forward to this excellent program today and our excellent speakers. And the next slide just shows that we really want to facilitate interdisciplinary interaction on this topical issue. So please make use of the opportunity to interact after and between the talks on Facebook and Twitter. Do ask questions, send your Q&A questions on Facebook, and I will select some of them to be presented to our speakers. And do come back and make use of the recorded talks later. And the next slide shows once again the BeSP forum and the Twitter hashtag. So do join and participate in the discussions. So I think this is now the last slide. I want to welcome you all from your remote offices to this first ever BeSP symposium, only virtually. I hope and I'm sure that we will learn a lot today and tomorrow. And I guess we're just then going to kick off the symposium. I will introduce briefly Bianca Albers, the chair of the European Implementation Collaborative. She has vast experience in promoting the use of evidence in policy and practice in child, youth, and family services in multiple Western countries. And she focuses on development, implementation, and evaluation of research-supported programs, practices, and service models, and on capacity building in organizations and services to establish and maintain evidence-based practice and policy cultures. So I'm very pleased to present our first speaker today, Bianca Albers. And I think Jukka is now transferring to the Zoom presentation of Bianca. So let's enjoy. Welcome.